treated Big Brother.
If they want to get you, they'll get you. The NSA specifically targets the communications of everyone. They're collecting your communications.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to this week's edition of Thoughtcrime Thursday. We are here. It is an audacious week, an auspicious week. I am in a button down, but I am not in a jacket, nor will I ever be, as is tradition. Now, Andrew Colette is here.
No,
Andrew, there were some comments that it looked like you were in a jacket last week.
No, Andrew showed up to work today.
I was giving you the benefit of the doubt. It looked like a windbreaker.
No, Jack. Andrew just showed up for this show just a few minutes ago with no shirt on and only a jacket.
That's not true.
Hold on. And we
But
were like, whoa, dude, you got this totally wrong.
Savage kind of thing.
You're supposed to wear no jacket and a shirt. He got it backwards. He was wearing no shirt and a jacket.
I get confused. I'm dyslexic.
Oh, you got it backwards.
No, I did come in with a jacket. So here's the thing. So I don't wear jackets very often, and it's funny because I think people just assume I do because of the show.
Yeah.
But I come to work and I have an outfit on, and I don't have a second outfit. I don't have like a wardrobe. I'm not like some diva that has like multiple wardrobes. I'll never forget.
So you just deliberately always bring it in here to flout the
I get cold because they keep this
Thoughtcrime.
place like a freaking ice box because of all the studio equipment. Anyways, so yeah, I'm in my t-shirt. This is what I do.
It's
You look like you got the swingers, the 1950s golf shirt or something.
This is just a nice Pacific Somewhere shirt that was on sale.
There you go.
For $30.
I try my best, but you know what's funny when I
Wait,
talk
are you
about
guys-
go ahead, Jack.
Are you guys seeing what the White House just did?
No.
They just announced the existence of aliens.
Oh, I'm sure. Well, all right. Yeah, if they say
Hold
so.
on.
Can we pull this up? Whitehouse.gov/aliens.
Yeah, that's been live for a while.
What?
Yeah, hasn't it?
Just-
Didn't they start that like a while
They just
ago?
sent it to me now.
Bro.
They walk
They
among
walk
us.
among us.
Yeah. Okay. Wow.
You
Yeah.
seeing
All
this?
right.
You guys seeing this?
The U.S. government has kept a closely guarded secret that you can tell is definitely real based on this obnoxious website they've made. Aliens.
Hold
This
on.
is going to be about illegal aliens. This is going to be about
Aliens have been
deportations.
walking among us, living in our neighborhoods.
They've shopped at
interacting
the
with
same
us in our
stores.
daily lives.
I like it.
They've
attended
shopped
the
the
same
stores.
classes. And they live
listen,
seemingly normal human existences, with one
is so
exception.
good.
They do not belong here. Oh, that was clever. That was clever. I like that.
Millions arrived under the cover of darkness and embedded themselves directly
See,
into our society.
The truth is no
Countless
longer
presidents,
out there. It is
congressmen,
right here,
and
right
senior
now.
officials knew exactly what was happening.
I
3,129,000 encounters.
I
Wait,
want
there's
to
a
know
map.
how many. I want to know how many real aliens are also on government subsidized.
Wait, scroll down.
healthcare.
There's like a, what is that? Alien arrest map live. Oh, wow. This is actually cool.
Okay,
Yeah,
this
I'm
is
into it.
taking way too long to load. I don't have time to read all of this. But
The
speaking
truth
of
is no-
aliens,
is no
scroll
longer
past
out
the
there.
text.
It is
There's
right
a
here,
live
right now.
map. So you scroll down and there's a live map of like arrests
Oh, I love this.
that have taken place, and you can zoom in anywhere in the country
Man,
on
look
it.
at Texas. It's like pure red in Florida.
Based.
Man, I love
you know,
this.
speaking of aliens, we have to shout out most of Thoughtcrime's listeners for holding the line and not going to the new Star Wars movie, The Mandalorian and
Good
Grogu,
for
which
you guys.
grossed a mere about $100 million in its first weekend, which in
It's
modern
the lowest of any
inflationary
Disney
times,
Star Wars movie.
in
No,
modern,
it did the same as Solo. I looked it
yeah,
up.
but it's been about a decade
No,
since
that's
Solo.
that, yeah,
and
but you have to
so-
change it to inflation.
7 years. 7 years. Well, yeah.
Yeah,
I
Solo
guess.
was at 19, I think. Yeah.
So Solo, but it was the first.
Solo was 18.
First release in 7 years. First theatrical release.
Yeah, first theatrical release of anything. It barely made $100 million,
Can I-
which
can
is
I-
like half the
Globally,
debut.
163.
It's like half the debut of Star Wars Episode 3 when you adjust for inflation and everything else. But even if most of our viewers weren't holding the line, it seems like there were a lot of defectors in our
Yeah,
own
that's
studio.
terrible.
Hold on.
Terrible.
Let's at least take a second to say that congratulate and appreciate those who actually went along with the assignment of boycotting this, because Mark Hamill called for Donald Trump to be killed. And of course, by extension, all conservatives. This, of course, led to we saw something happen where a Star Wars super fan apparently beat to death the guy who ran a Trump house in San Diego. So I mean, this was a real thing.
I'm gonna play both sides.
You
of
didn't
this
see
whole
that?
debate.
I did see that. I did see that. Some guy at a Trump house, and a guy in a literal Star Wars shirt brutally beat him to death.
Beat him to death on the street, like an elderly man.
Was he like inspired by Mark Hamill?
I don't think he was inspired by Mark Hamill, but he was probably inspired by being a Star Wars fan.
He's probably inspired by.
I mean, it's pretty 1-to-1. Like Mark Hamill says, "Go kill Trump," and he goes and finds like a guy who runs a Trump house and beats him to death.
Look, I'm going to play both sides of this debate. I did live by the commitment to not go see it. And that was a tough commitment to keep, because I like Star Wars, and I actually think that Jack's totally wrong about Star Wars in general, and his hatred for Star Wars is terrible, and it's anti-American, and there's so many different things. But here's what I will say.
No, I mean, I'm just against LGBT agendas and people who want to
let him finish.
So I live by it. I didn't go see Mandalorian and Grogu, but I'm going to defend Andrew because
you outed me already.
I'm going to defend Andrew for doing this and breaking the creed, because there's only so much time you have with your kids, and if that's your time that you have was this last week, I don't think it's up to Hollywood or Jack Posobiec to dictate when you can use your free time with your children.
So that's what we have to announce, everyone. Andrew, he saw The Mandalorian. He didn't just see The Mandalorian. He went to the special sit down dine-in theater. He says, he was telling us it might be his favorite movie ever made.
That is not true.
Are you sure? I don't know.
What did you eat? What did you eat?
I ate a burger.
Okay. Which dine-in movie theater was it?
Well, it was
no free ads.
We'll be vague, but it was Central Phoenix area. So here's
Central Phoenix.
Yeah.
You went to the bluest part of the state to.
I mean, it is what it is.
You went to the bluest part of the state.
I don't even know that,
to view basically the movie.
Given Republicans your
How
money?
did you feel during the scene where the Mandalorian? How did you feel about the scene where the Mandalorian turns to the camera and he says, "We need to work together to win back the White House in 2028."
This is MAGA country, but like the inverse.
Yeah, like the bad guy that Rado the Hutt.
I will say this: The Mandalorian and Grogu made a huge mistake, and I don't really understand why they made this mistake.
I don't like the graphic of the title.
No.
It felt like
in
recent
years, the only thing that's really been successful in the Star Wars play has been them reintroducing Hayden Christensen into like different parts of the IP, and people love that because he was hated, and now he's loved.
He was so bad,
but now he's loved.
He was the worst actor.
Now, reintroducing Darth Vader and stuff into stuff has been like super successful, and again, I'm gonna use the Spider-Man when they teased intentionally. Tried to make it secret that they were going to do the multiverse thing, and all the two previous Spider-Men were going to show up in the movie, and then it got leaked and all of that. It hyped up the movie so much that so many you had to go see. Even if you were Jack, you would have, and you were anti that, you would have had to go see it and be part of that. There was no hype for this movie.
So
there was nothing exciting. There was no special
let me explain.
thing that got leaked. There was nothing. It was just this is just an extended episode of The Mandalorian.
Yeah. So let me explain what happened. So and I don't even feel like defending myself that much because I had a great time with my son and it was awesome. And so come at me. My son had a birthday. He turned 6, and we had a little party for him. He got presents. Mm-hmm. Some of those presents, people got him expecting him to like The Mandalorian because that's just what people presumed. So he gets a little Mandalorian figurine that he freaking loves. He won't leave this thing alone. He takes it all over the house. When he's out in the yard, he's got it in his hand. So he starts inventing all this stuff about Mandalorian. He finds out there's a movie coming out, and he's like, "Can we go, please, 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 please?" And so anyways, I show him like the trailer and he's freaking out. So they beg me all Memorial Day weekend to take them to the movie. I find a little pocket of time and I was like, you know what? I'm going to take my son and my daughter to go see The Mandalorian. He was sitting the dine-in theaters, they have these big seats so you can like recline or whatever. He's at the front edge of his seat the whole time, and he's like swinging his arms, like get him, having a blast. I loved every minute of it with my son, and so it's great. I mean, that's why I did it, because
Jack's a
in your
hypocrite.
household, the children are in charge.
And, I think you asked me if the movie was any good, and I was like, I honestly couldn't tell you if it was that good. My son loved it, and I had so much fun watching my son.
Time out. Let me defend you. Jack's a hypocrite, and you know why? Because he totally took his kids to Disney. I think it was Disney World.
Oh, are you
this is fake news, and this has been fake news for a long time, Tyler. No, that was prior to
Disney World.
The Disney boycott. That was prior to the Disney boycott, and Tanya posted the picture late.
Hey, Jack,
I remember this whole thing.
No, Jack.
Tanya posted the picture late after the Disney boycott began.
Jack,
But
there's
we
only one
went
person.
before the
There's only
Disney
like
boycott.
There's only like 5 people in America who lead boycotts, and you're one of them. So you're saying you didn't have the gumption to lead the boycott, and then took your kids to Disney World before
this was
you led the boycott?
This was a pre-boycott.
I know, that's what I'm saying.
Pre-boycott
You took your
photo.
family to
It was
Disney
a
World and then led the
pre-boycott
boycott.
photo.
This is like
It was a pre-boycott photo.
no, this is
We
like
have not
insider
been to
trading.
Disney since then,
No,
and we
this
will
is-
not go to Disney.
This is basically insider
until the
trading.
boycott is
No,
lifted.
the guy who runs boycotts took his family to Disney World and then led the boycott afterwards, knowing that he was going to lead the boycott later.
Ooh,
No, here's
that's
no.
a
This is actually really funny.
then just to rub it in all our face and post the picture.
It make
after.
me feel bad.
It's like
about
pulling
taking
on.
my
This
son.
is
It's like when
really
they pull up
funny.
the
So what
ladder
Tyler's
on things like
referring to, which
boomers,
is
you
really
know?
which is hilarious because this is from like what 4 or 5 years ago.
Yeah.
Where there was this whole media like freak out on me because of this, because I was like leading a Disney boycott over
Probably some of their gay
crazy
stuff.
one of like the LGBT things they were doing. But it was like the first one, and I called for a Disney boycott. But then Tanya, of course, like not paying attention to what I'm doing on Twitter, decides to post our Disney photos from like a month before, like at the same time. So they're like, "What? Sobek is at Disney while he's like calling for a boycott of Disney." Actually, funny enough, I can remember
Insider trading. It's the same
I think
thing.
I remember the actual day we were there because it was like randomly enough, it was the day that the Ukraine war started in 2022. So I think that's like the very day that we went there. It was like that day or the day after was when we were there. And I remember noticing that like everybody's still at Disney and like nobody seems to be really
And then you
upset.
thought, I'm going to go home and
the real
organize
issue
a
here,
boycott.
Jack, is
So
you
we're-
couldn't control your woman.
Ooh.
I'm kidding,
no,
Jack.
children-
I'm kidding.
A-bombs being
woman
thrown
has
everywhere.
been
Children run
dealt
his house.
with, all right? The situation
Child power.
I'm
was
sure you had a
dealt with.
stern conversation.
Children
after.
run his household. It's very clear.
Listen, I had a great time with my son. No
children
regrets.
in my house.
No regrets.
So by the way, my kids know how to make fun of the kids who like Star Wars. Like we mock them in our household. We deride them. We talk about how inferior they
so
are.
much
We
fun
talk
with my
about how
son.
their parents
You
don't
You
have
talk
any
about
discipline
how
or
you're better
testosterone
because
or
you went to the
emotional
Star
control.
Wars stuff before the boycott. kicked
My
in.
kids do that with Lord of the Rings.
I see. I never ascribed to the boycott. First of all, I don't think I was on that episode of Thoughtcrime, and I wasn't. So I listen. Here's the other thing I would say.
This has been a 10+ year long boycott.
John Favreau directed this, and I thought he did a pretty good job on The Mandalorian. And it's not like wussy stuff. He's like a masculine director who actually understands how to
Really?
make things
Like,
not
can we show the
cringe.
picture of Pedro Pascal when he was on Stephen Colbert?
Yeah, that's
I mean,
true.
masculine director. We should show a picture of John. I always want to say it Farvo because it's spelled exactly like Brett
Swingers,
Favre.
baby. Come on. You're so money, baby.
I've never heard of this movie actually.
What?
But
I've always said
Swingers.
Favreau.
You've never heard of Swingers?
No.
What?
Well, first
Jack,
of
you've heard of Swingers, right?
okay, well, you're mad I haven't heard of this movie that grossed
No, I've
$4
heard of it,
million
but I haven't seen it.
in
Funny enough.
1996, a year when
I'm
I
well
was
aware of it, but I have
watching
not seen
Power
it. Or
Rangers.
maybe I saw it, but like forever ago.
Anyways, well.
Anyway, I've never heard of this.
in
Anyway,
Swingers, right?
I actually also
Yeah,
saw
he
Star
stars in
Wars, but not The Mandalorian. I saw The Return of the Jedi at the Phoenix Symphony Orchestra with a live symphony, which I will say, excellent. I will say I went on Friday night this time. I'd gone to the prior two original movies on Saturday and Sunday, and you could definitely tell there was a different crowd at the opening performance of this. It was a slightly...
Wait, what did you see?
I definitely saw more people in costumes. The funniest thing I saw, there was a woman with her...
Jack wants to know what you're talking about right now.
Oh, I saw Return of the Jedi. And
no, you said, but you saw other original movies. What original movies?
So original. So I saw Empire Strikes Back and A New Hope. They've done each of the trilogy
what
films.
upsets me though is like it's
gotcha,
almost impossible to find the originals.
Oh yeah, and that was part of it.
Stand the CGI.
I can find them.
Yes, this one had that. It had the terrible.
Can you send me the link?
Yeah,
it had the terrible pop
that.
star that's singing.
Yeah, I hate that.
Yeah, they kept that. It was unfortunately the full George Lucasified.
Well, they had to do
version,
that to make money off.
True story.
Because I don't know why they don't fix that though. Why don't they fix that now?
Because
the CGI is so much better now. It's like, why can't they just make that better now?
Let's just undo all this. Undo all of this. But since it was opening night, there were more people in costumes, more people in strange T-shirts. More people who were of various spherical Death Star shapes. I saw a mom with her daughter, and I'm not making this up. She was basically in blackface because she was cosplaying as an Ewok. And so she had the Ewok hat, which is kind of orange, that the Wicket is the name of the Ewok character.
Speaking of Stephen
But then she painted her whole face dark brown, and it was basically
that was Jimmy Kimmel.
it was basically blackface, and I got a big kick out of it. I don't think anyone was offended.
So I apologize, Jack, but worth it. So
it's how it is.
Listen, I didn't get him a Bud Light or something. It's not like
I'm gonna say right now, I'm gonna go watch the movie with my kids, but it's
literally the Bud Light of movies.
I know, but this is the thing is, like, I've heard it's terrible. Actually,
it's not bad.
I've heard it's like.
So why take your kid? Why not go see Michael?
But here's the Favreau argument.
The kitty diddler. I'm just kidding.
So I saw Michael. I saw Michael.
No,
my take,
the one who was falsely accused.
My take on the Mike.
I still don't know what I think about that, but yeah.
Well, it's just obviously fake.
My take on the Michael movie was that it wasn't as good as everyone said it was, but
I didn't
separate.
See it.
It was well made.
It was better.
It was well made, but I thought.
So,
but anyways, going back, I still think with the Favreau thing, excuse me, like he was like executive producer, I think, on like a ton of Marvel like good movies.
Mm-hmm.
That like every single one of those movies had like a major hook into it that had like it was just chock full of what do they call them when it's like a
set pieces?
No, like just like a special thing that happens in it, like that's unexpected. What do they call
twist?
That? Not
a plot twist.
No, a
jump scare.
It had something that
they
like,
had a bunch of stuff, a bunch of things in it, and this movie has none of that.
Yeah,
it's just very like
a lot of action.
Straightforward.
Yeah, a lot of action.
No, but it's just like an action, straightforward. There's nothing that's like the Star Wars cinematic. The universe that Star Wars is in has so many different things in it now that it's actually criminal to me to not have any like secret things that are pop up in it that
like
aren't
Easter eggs,
huge. Easter eggs. That's right.
So,
Easter eggs. There was like no Easter eggs in this movie.
Yeah. Well, I would tell you that me and Foz were having this conversation because it's like a lot of people like to crap on the movie. It's not good or whatever. It's like, well, okay, but imagine kids. It's a movie that kids would really get into, and I had so much fun with my kids. So I appreciate it for that. I'm not like gonna do the full movie critic thing on it. I don't. It's an action film in the Star Wars universe, and
Tisk.
I know.
Well,
Here, how about we do this? Is it gonna break even? That's a question, Jack, that you might appreciate. It probably still was successful. So here's a quick clip of Matt Damon discussing.
Yeah, I don't think it is actually.
How much a movie needs to make. Clip 13. Or clip 3, sorry. Clip 3. Oh, that's probably 13. No, let's do clip 3.
Yeah, clip 3. Abort.
Like you're trying to get everybody
spending about what the budget was to make it to advertise it.
Because you got
50% of the theatrical.
Yeah, because you split it with the movie house, right? The exhibitor.
So a $25 million movie to break even, you got to make $100 million in the
to publicize. Like you're trying to.
So that movie Mandalorian cost about $180 million to make.
So that would mean
Wait, that cost $180 million to make that movie?
But
and it's
you
180
have to
million.
add you have to double that because of P&A.
360.
because of the
That's
marketing
why
budget.
that's why it's four times.
360, which means you need to make 360 times 2
$720 million
to break even.
720.
There's no
I don't
way
think this
that-
thing's gonna make $720 million unless China just goes gaga for Baby Yoda.
Yeah.
Which
Wait,
they
is
conceivably
it
buy.
360 times 2, or is it to break even, or is it 180
360.
times
We were
2 to
taking
break
360 times 2 because one
They split it with the movie houses. So if you bring in 700 and
because 180
I
times
see.
2 and that
720,
times
yeah,
You're
2.
saying to break even for the
720
company.
million, you take half of that as profit. The movie houses take the other half. So if you're going to break even, you need that much. So I mean, and there's no like DVD sales anymore. It's
There's
just, like,
no
all
DVD.
streaming.
There's no the
But you could
television
get it
rights. You
on-
can put
you
them on
could-
streaming platforms,
but
but that's not
You could get it off of merch, like a lot of Mandalorian
Baby
sales.
Yoda. But do they get new merch out of this? Really? They already had Baby Yoda
No.
came out.
I'm
There's-
sure they
this
could.
is what I'm
thing,
saying.
Like, the merch
There's nothing
already
new.
existed for this.
Yeah,
Like,
but it doesn't have to be new merch. It has to be new sales.
Yeah, but think
this is going
about-
to help new sales.
think about
like my
if-
son got a action figure for his birthday party because somebody bought it.
Listen. I could be.
see, my people in our area know not to bring that crap into my household.
I could be better than Favreau at this than he is right now. Like, think about if they would have introduced another Baby Yoda or a
Toddler
child
Yoda.
By the way,
Yoda.
did you know Grogu is not Baby Yoda?
No, I know it's not.
I know, but we call him Baby
I really
Yoda
don't
because
care.
I don't know the
Yeah.
lore.
I just
so.
don't care.
No, but imagine a sibling to Baby Yoda. Like, think about when Guardians of the Galaxy came out and they cut down Groot, and then he turned into Baby Groot.
Baby Groot, yeah.
Remember? And it was
And then-
regular
yeah.
Groot, and
No,
then there
it's
was Baby
smart.
Groot.
You're
It's
thinking
like-
about the merch when you
That's
think
what
about
I'm
the
saying.
characters and the storyline.
How do you run a
All right.
multi-billion-dollar franchise and nobody thinks about the merch, and it's like they produce no, like, your point is a really good point. It's like they produced nothing in this movie that could be
Yeah.
its own merch. When Baby Yoda was introduced in The Mandalorian, that produced like the biggest boom in merch.
The only
in Star
part that
Wars
was kind
history.
of cool was that Jabba the Hutt's like what I don't know. It's like his son.
Yeah.
Is in this, and he's like an
Like a
MMA
gladiator,
fighter. He's a
yeah.
gladiator
No
fighter.
one's
Which
buying
is
Jabba the
stupid.
Hutt merch.
Which is really stupid.
Yeah, but it was like
That's not-
it was kind of stupid.
Let's
but it
take
was
a
actually
character
kinda
who's
cool.
famously a slug that just sits there and is like lazy and has everyone else do
Yeah,
his
but
work.
now they fight.
And now we have the jacked, squats 500.
Yeah, no, like it'd be like 5,000. But yeah, so wait, okay, Jack. Just so I'm clear, if you just take the 9 movies in the series, right, from the original 4, then the 4, 5, 6, 1, 2, 3, and then 7, 8, 9. Which is your favorite of that, or do you just like you're so boycott that you don't care, or?
I mean, I will tell you that I just texted you the link to watch all the despecialized
Nice.
Star Wars
Dude, that's
editions
great.
from the originals. So you can, if you really want to,
That's
you can watch those.
genuinely the most important thing to me. I cannot stand the like boo-boo CGI from like what was it, like 1999?
1998, I think. Because
Oh,
right
they-
before.
they, like,
Take all that
ruined
crap
it.
out.
99.
But
They-
what
Was
they
it
did,
99 right
this is
before
a fan
episode?
project, and you can find it on Archive. So what the fans did was they went in and they like upscaled, to like I think this is 720K or 720p rather, to make it look crisp, on a modern screen, but also preserving the original of the original series. Which so if I were still watching Star Wars, I would watch the originals. I would not be watching.
Which one of
the
those is your
special
favorite?
editions. I would not be watching the Lucas edited editions with like the Ewok eyelids or Han shooting second.
Okay,
or
but
any other
Jack, you're
crap that they
evading the
added in.
question here. What's your favorite?
Yeah.
I just said that.
All
No,
three?
your favorite film, not your favorite type.
These are the ones I'd be watching if I were watching.
Which one of these 3?
Which episode?
Which one of these 3? I don't know. I never really thought of it. I guess
me and
probably
Blake just
Jedi.
sneezed
I'd have to say Jedi.
That's my favorite. Return of the Jedi.
I'm an absolutist. The original Star Wars film is the best one, and it's actually, I would say,
A New Hope.
A New Hope. But I just call it Star Wars most of the time because I think that's the only one that's actually a transcendently great film. I think that is a genuinely great film, start to finish. Every scene is good, amazingly edited, amazingly scored.
Caboose. What's
Good
the
plot.
best?
Standalone.
I like the I just to give the answer. I like the on Jedi. I like the story of redemption, the story of like atonement, redemption.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of Christian themes. I like that
I'm
about
gonna push
Jedi.
back on that. I think the story of redemption in Star Wars is actually kind of bad. It's bad in the sense it's presented in this bizarre, facile way that almost doesn't make sense. So first of all we know of Vader is that he goes and he commits genocide and does insanely evil things and chokes people. And then you show up in Return of the Jedi and Luke just says, I know you're still good, Father. I know there's still good in you. What? Why? Where is there any evidence that there's good in him? There's been none. Yeah, but there's just been no actual external evidence of this.
Well, there is if you watch
And then-
the first three.
And
because-
it rationalizing everything again.
becoming a good person. He just is watching his son get tortured to death, and then he goes like, no, and then he grabs the Emperor and throws him down the elevator shaft. Spoilers for everyone. And then like, oh, he's now good and he's on the light side again. I think a lot of bad art has come out of that, like the presentation of good and evil, almost like a light switch. Oh, you're on the light side one moment. Oh, bam, you switch to the dark side, and then you could switch back again. Comic books do this.
Well, he
stuff.
didn't just bam switch back. You're just like leaving out a lot of the plot of the movie. Like,
What happened?
so
what does Darth
to
Vader
make
do
your
in that
argument
movie? That's
make
not that's
sense,
good. Other than
but
throw the
you're
Emperor
also
down an
leaving
elevator
out
shaft.
very key things. Like he delivers his son to be tortured by the Emperor. The Emperor starts torturing him. It's through that torture that he starts remembering what his son says, and then he goes and kills the Emperor.
Okay. So
he
it's
actually
like a
does
light
do
switch. He
things.
suddenly is a
doesn't
good
just
guy again.
Automatically switch over.
He's just a good guy again. I guess and then we're treated this as his great redemption. I don't think that would undo.
Totally disagree.
I think if Hitler had a
Tyler's
son,
coming in with some-
I think
some bangers today.
if some guy like worked for Hitler and saw Hitler torturing his son and then suddenly threw Hitler down an elevator shaft, but that guy had otherwise run Auschwitz, I don't think we would say that undid running Auschwitz.
I totally disagree. You're totally skipping over in Empire when the interactions that they had together that led him to the moment of him like recognizing and reconnecting with his son.
Yeah, isn't there
and identifying? I mean, the most famous line in Star Wars history is not in A New Hope.
Father.
It's
and that's also bad. I think that is everyone remembers that, and yet that's also a sign of not just decline in Star Wars, but decline in our pop culture as well. Which is let's make an out of nowhere plot twist that's kind of irrelevant.
not out of nowhere. That
Of
was
course, it's
totally
out of
planned.
nowhere.
point-
They
that's
only
the
made it
point
up for the
Tyler's
second
making.
movie. It wasn't in the first movie.
Hold on.
George Lucas goes back and says, "Oh, I totally had it planned from the beginning." George Lucas is full of crap. George Lucas is making that up. George Lucas is making it up as he goes
thought
throughout the entire trilogy.
No, I totally think that plot twist and the way that they were able to keep it under wraps for so long is like one of the greatest parts. It's one of the greatest moments in American cinematic history is that they were able to keep that completely secret. And again, you talk about twists. That's like what made Star Wars like a long-lasting franchise. It wasn't A New Hope that was good and that made everyone go bonkers. It was the fact that they followed it up with such a crazy plot twist that it basically forced America to like Star Wars, unlike Jack, like real Americans like Star Wars. You have to like Star Wars if you want to actually consider yourself a citizen of the United States of America.
It took us down the dark path, which we remain on today, of you have this giant universe where anything can happen and there's quadrillions of people and infinity planets, and actually everything is just the family drama of one group of people.
That's actually like real life, though.
No, it's not. In
Yeah.
real life, not everything is a family drama with one family.
No,
or at
there's
least it
only-
wasn't like that until
I'm in
Donald
this-
Trump.
there's
ran
only
for
so
president.
many
boat where,
families that
like,
people care
we're like,
about.
Tyler's dumping on me, so I want to dump on him and his weakness in not being able to actually like hold on to a boycott because like it's not hard. You just don't give money to people who hate you.
Especially if you already gave money to them right before announcing the
Hey,
boycott.
I showed up today so that you could convince me to not follow the path of the dark side with Andrew and go watch this movie.
Yeah, it's
held
really
out
not hard to not
weeks,
do
a
anything.
week
Like
and a half.
in fact, you're not watching it right now. Like you're actively not watching it.
There's
Like,
nothing
you just
that's been
don't-
said so far that actually makes me not want to watch
right.
this movie.
So here's I
It
actually
promotes
looked this up.
homosexuality. It
I
promotes
looked
people
this
who
up.
hate us and want
All
us
right,
dead.
so subtle hints
What's the
that
gay part of the
Vader
movie?
still had good in him. In A New Hope, they show that one scene. There is the human vulnerability where they reveal Vader's scarred face in the meditation chamber.
Yes.
That is,
So
I believe in
it's
this.
a-
Isn't that in the second
No,
movie?
that's A New Hope. They show like
no,
the
that's in
helmet
the
coming
second
down.
movie.
That's
The second
definitely the
movie.
second movie, bro.
Definitely second movie.
Okay, this write-up says it's in the first one.
Is your write-up
Definitely
generated
in the
by a
second movie.
robot on
Yeah,
the internet?
probably so.
I gotta watch
All right,
out for the
so
robots on the
Cloud
internet.
City duel, Vader dominates but doesn't kill Luke.
That's also
Right?
the
Also
the
second
second
movie.
movie.
I'm saying
No,
that
that's
the
the
first.
second movie.
I'm saying
That's
the
the second
first
movie.
movie.
This is why
they made
my
this
argument
up.
was Empire. The Empire's the
No,
best
the
movie.
They
So-
made this
and-
up for the second movie.
So that Luke, you can destroy the Emperor. This is from Empire Strikes Back. You can destroy the Emperor. He has foreseen this. It is your destiny. Join me, and together we can rule the galaxy as father and son.
Yes.
All right. So
Empire.
so protective but hesitant actions. He wants Luke to turn but stop short of lethal force at key points. Okay, but episode. So he's trying to bring him in. Okay. Episode.
This is weak.
Why?
This is AI
Episode
generated
6.
bad
No,
arguments.
this is all good. Like, and then Luke, this is the stuff you're talking about. Luke says, I can tell there's good in you. Search your feelings, Father. You can do this. I feel the conflicts within you. Let go of your hate. Vader denies it, but hesitation proves Luke right.
Yeah. So episode 5 is the best because again, it solidifies episode 4 as if there's only 2 movies that ever get created, it would be 4 and 5. 5 was a great follow-up to a great movie, which I agree is standalone is the best movie is 4. But it was not. We're not talking standalone. We're talking about a lot of different movies. 5 starts to show the cracks in Vader's Sithness or whatever, right? And then 6 is just kind of like you expected that to happen.
I'm
Even
telling
6,
you,
they're making it up. Like the whole like Leia's Luke's sister.
Yeah, but
totally made it up on
6,
the fly.
You know, this is like going in to watch 6. Again, I'm putting myself in the 80s. I'm going in to watch episode 6 in theaters. Your
If you're in the 80s,
expectation,
it's not called episode 6. It's called Return of the Jedi.
yeah, Return of the Jedi in the 80s, right? The third in the trilogy.
third installment.
You are expecting that Vader turns in that movie.
yeah.
Are you not?
I don't know. I didn't
Okay,
go in the
so
80s.
what's the most exciting movie? The most exciting movie is Empire, where it's like you were blown away, your socks were knocked off, you loved 1, 2 blew your mind with that he's his dad. You're dying to go to episode or to the 3rd installment of the trilogy, and the trilogy delivers exactly what you expected it to do.
Yeah. I'm going to have to agree with that.
So and then by the way, the next most exciting moment in cinematic history in the Star Wars realm was in episode 1, and the poor guy that played Jar Jar Binks got hated his entire life for something that he had to do. Like without Jar Jar Binks, you do not have the positives in that movie. And it at the time, I remember going into that.
Jar Jar was
You guys are really
unwatchable.
making a hard sell here.
Yeah, I'm just saying if there's 3 movies in a row to like, I agree, 4 and 5, but 4 and 5 are a package duo. You have to like them 1 and 2 or 2 or 1. Like that has to be your either the 5th episode. Empire has to be your number 1, and New Hope has to be number 2, or vice versa. But my argument would be the next best moment actually comes in episode 3, not because the movie sucks. Except for the end part, the last 5 minutes of that movie, like it doesn't leave you.
You know what's really funny? Actually, just to talk about like how media is consumed differently today than when we were kids. I don't think when I was a kid, I'd only ever seen, Star Wars and Jedi. I never saw Empire until I was in like high school.
Really?
And yeah, because I used to just like not, rent it or
Was it because Jedi was on
like, my
TV all the
parents
time?
didn't-
Dude, I remember
or,
Jedi
like, yeah,
being on
like it would be on
TV all the
or
time.
something,
Yeah,
and I
the
would see it.
Wookiees.
And like just the way that you would interact with
Ewoks.
media was so different because like you would turn it on and be like, oh yeah, I'm gonna watch the Star Wars for a while, and then you'd watch this other one,
Yeah.
and then for whatever reason, I just never watched Empire probably until like 98 or so. Oh, you know what it was when they released the special editions, which is right before the prequels came out. So I guess it was like the 20.
I watched
20
them in the theaters.
or
I remember I watched the re-releases in the theaters because they
Yeah,
made a
the
big hype
re-releases.
about it.
Right
Lucas
before.
re-releases the originals in the theaters with all this new CGI, and I thought, okay, here we go. And I don't think at the time I had the lens to see how bad it was, but if you watch them back now, it's like,
They're terrible.
It's awful. What can you imagine only watching Star Wars, but only watching the dialogue, Jack? Only watching.
What are you talking about? That doesn't make any sense.
That doesn't make any sense. The movie
would
is like basically just
ruin
dialogue.
not only Star Wars but
You're
all
wrong.
media. Like, how could you do
that-
something like that?
That is an
horrible.
interesting segue then, Jack, because that's our next topic.
What?
Yes, the trend of reading dialogue instead of an entire novel.
All right.
Blake
Yes.
loves this idea.
I really like it. So this came out in a recent discovery. This was a tweet, I believe. So throw up number 4 on screen. But this was someone remarking on X the other day. Finding out, someone says, "Can we please normalize achievable reading goals? 30 or more books a year is not common." And then this other person, Ollie B, replied, "Finding out that people on Book Talk, that is TikTok book readers, they skip everything but dialogue, which makes reading 30 plus a year books make a lot more sense." And let's see, I think they said another thing. And then someone goes, "But this is smart. I hate all of the descriptions. Like, I can't even envision it, and it is boring. Although, when I write, I feel like I need to add stuff like that in to make a good book," crying face. And then Ollie B says, "That is not reading or writing. The descriptions are the book." And the person replies, "I prioritize character development and plot. Others prioritize prose. Declaring one real over the other is such a weird form of literary gatekeeping."
Wow.
So literary gatekeeping,
Oh,
if you want
dear
people
Lord.
to read the whole book and not just...
This makes so much sense.
And it's really
this-
deeply
this-
revealing. Like,
This explain dude, this explains so much about what I've experienced doing like this kind of stuff and media commentary, whatever, on content over the last. Funny enough, so today I guess is my Twitter anniversary, my X-anniversary. I've been on Twitter for 14 years as of today, and people who know the backstory know that I originally got on to crap on the HBO's Game of Thrones from the perspective of a book reader who was very upset about it. And long story short, we're here now. And what's hilarious is that I used to encounter people like this all the time who were just filthy casuals who clearly we used to call them SJWs back in the day, but they were like these supporters of the characters, like, "Oh, I'm a Daenerys supporter," or like, "Oh, I could never be friends with the Stannis supporter." I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, just watch the show or like read the book. Like, why do you have to like be on a side of a character or something? Like, do you like it or not? And I came to find that these people like saw themselves or saw characters as themselves rather than as their own, a character that was objectively a separate individual. And so this makes so much sense to me because we're dealing with people now, and Book Talk is huge, by the way. It's all over the place. You see it everywhere. When I talked about that one show, or that one book series that got turned into a movie with Sydney Sweeney about killing your husband, called The Handmaiden, or excuse me, The Housemaiden. Housemaid. That it was really rode the the Book Talk carousel, if you will, and that's what's going on. They're not actually reading these things. They're not meant to be fully read. It's just like oh, here's what it'd be like if you killed your husband. La 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 la. And then women go out and like start thinking that way and start hating men.
I think there's a lot to
I think
that.
Blake has read more books than any of us
This
here.
is so revealing to me,
Blake, but you read a lot of history. And
I
stuff.
know, and it fluctuates a lot, certainly in the number I can read. So like this year, I think I probably read like 11 or 12 books this year, but they are pretty hefty. I'm getting through, I'm reading Imperial China by F.W. Moat.
Yeah,
maybe
but
H.W. Moat.
No, but what I'm saying is that is distinct from a fiction.
True. I fluctuate a lot in how much fiction I read. I've read because when you're reading it, you kind of go on a streak and read a lot by one author or in one series. So I haven't read. I read C.S. Lewis.
Just did that.
I read C.S. Lewis this year. I read That Hideous Strength and Paralandra, so the later parts of his space trilogy. Those were all right. I'm reading a big, long novel about ancient Rome, which is like, okay, I'd say. It's the Masters of Rome series. Have you ever heard of that one? Colleen McCullough just wrote 7,000-page long books about ancient Rome. But they're all right. They're all right.
Yeah, but could you imagine reading fiction and only reading the dialogue? What would you miss?
I feel like you'd miss a lot. You, among other things, you'd probably miss what's actually happening.
You'd miss like everything.
Sometimes in a book they'll describe major events in the plot that are not dialogue.
I love that like the first tweet that you guys sent in the chat about this one was like, what is happening? What? Like somebody's freaking out, discovering that this is like a trend. And by the way, I feel like this is keeping up with the Joneses energy. Like they want to be able to say, oh, I read all these books, but you actually didn't read the books. It's like you didn't actually do a thing and you want to claim credit for it. And that to me is the most offensive part about this. It's, yeah, you're missing the art, you're missing everything, but it's this weird drive to sort of say like, I read 14 books or something.
And that gets into another part. Someone pointed out that in addition to people just skipping large chunks of the book, the way a lot of these books are consumed is they'll just take an audio book of it and they'll run it at 1.5, 2 times, 3 times speed as like constant background track of their life. And
you miss all the joy of a book. Like the only reason I like to read is because it's like I put the kids down and I sit there with a book and I'm fully consumed by it.
Yeah, and I really don't think anything
Andrew,
of
those are
substance can be
children's
read
books, though.
any other
We
way.
don't, we don't
pictures
count
are really
children's
nice.
books in our
A book
total.
read quickly is kind of a book not read at all if it's of any
Dude, if
substance.
I got to
However-
count
Wait,
children's
wait,
books in
wait,
my
wait.
book total, in my
Wait, Andrew's
my
like,
book count.
I'm engrossed in this really big series. It's called See Spot Run. It's amazing.
Yeah.
He just this dog.
Man,
he can't stop him running.
if I could count
Very
children's
inspired.
books in my book total in a year, it would be in the hundreds. I mean,
I know, right?
he
Well,
just
what
crushed
the
one
funny
of
thing
those
is,
the
so
night
many
we
of these
could-
books they're reading,
5 of them
even
a
frankly, even if they have graphic sex or like whatever stuff in it, a lot of them are still effectively children's books. They are written at a child's reading level.
That's really depressing.
Very depressing.
That's actually a really good point too, because if you, I did read Housemaid, and it was very, very juvenile writing, very amateurish.
What?
It's kind of like, I guess this started with what was that series, 50 Shades of Grey, where it was like a fan fiction of Twilight that later became a like book series in its own right, and then a movie series in its own right, where you just get this like really, really just
So no, but this is a big concern, Jack.
puerile,
This is a
like
big
grade
concern.
school level writing.
It's a big concern because are we just becoming dumber as a culture? And I think like the answer is undoubtedly yes, which is troublesome. It's problematic. We played one of these Matt Damon clips, and so I'm going to play another one because I think it's really telling. Clip 7.
Netflix, standard way to make an action movie that we learned was, you usually have like 3 set pieces, one in the first act, one in the second, and one in the third. And, they kind of ramp up in the big one with all the explosions, and you spend most of your money on that one in the third act. That's your kind of finale. And now they're like, can we get a big one in the first 5 minutes to get somebody, we want people to stay tuned in. And it wouldn't be terrible if you reiterated the plot 3 or 4 times in the dialogue because people are on their phones while they're watching. You know what I mean?
It's the most depressing clip.
It's really bad.
This is totally true though. This is how I watch movies though.
Oh, bad. No, you're.
This is how you do the show.
This is the fall. This is the fall of civilization in a nutshell, and you see it everywhere. And I think we would be.
See, this is how you plan the show for me. Is you get me drawn in the first part, and then I sleep through Blake's part in the middle, and then I show up for the end.
Oh, okay. That's how it's gonna be. Well,
Dude, Tyler's just throwing out zingers, just banger after banger.
well, this is the fall. This is the fall of civilization, though. This is as simple as that.
I
If
totally
you-
I totally think that this is fine. This
You
is
think
not.
this is fine? You
Yeah,
think
this
it's fine that we can't follow a plot or a book and people are
No, it's just
subliterate.
life is different now. It's not about that. It's about attention
Yeah,
spans.
life is worse. Life is worse than
Yeah, but
attention
it's not
spans are
going
worse.
back.
And that is the fall of civilization
Yeah,
in
but
a
it's
nutshell.
not going back. It's like we're not going to get rid of cell phones. We're not going to like.
I know, and eventually civilization
everyone's
will just
attention-
implode. We're not able to achieve great things anymore.
No, I mean, like it's going to get worse.
Yeah.
We
It's
can
gonna-
achieve great things though, because the movie Michael is right there for all of us to see, and it's amazing, and everyone should go see it.
Why do
So
you?
what if-
Okay, I can understand not thinking Michael
Are you-
Jackson
are you
is
invested?
guilty. Yeah, you seem really invested in
Are you invested?
Are you financially?
Are you financially tied to the success of Michael?
Look at you, conspiracy theorists! Like you're just trying to take away my joy.
Look.
You're just trying to take away my joy of loving Michael Jackson. No,
Jack,
it's
I
literally
like-
like-
what are your
My
top?
kids are getting-
I'll tell you
what
what
are
I
your
like.
top
I'll tell you what I like.
30?
You wanna know
What are
it?
your top 30 favorite Michael Jackson songs?
No, who cares about that?
Top 30? I don't know about
Top 30.
30.
No,
could
I
do,
bet you
like,
you have a
bunch of
list
them.
in your head. I can tell.
Top 5.
So I could here's the thing though, is my kids will get home and then Jack will be like, Daddy, can you put on Thriller? And I'll put on Thriller and he starts like moonwalking throughout the living room. Or, we'll put on Beat It, we'll put on Bad, we'll put on whatever, and or Billie Jean, obviously,
Billie Jean.
like Man in the Middle, Black and White, Black or White. excuse
You've
me.
already named more Michael Jackson songs than I could name.
We'll put
Well,
on. No, I mean
So,
he's
Jack,
legitimately.
You think
I've
Michael
always been a
was
Michael Jackson
legitimately-
fan.
You think
And-
Michael was like a 10 out of 10 movie?
No.
Well, it depends on what you're going for. Like the experience that we had was 10 out of 10. Yes. If you want to
but I
judge it
thought
as
that
like
about
a like
Mandalorian and Grogu.
super
with
film
my son.
critic hat on, like I don't know if I'd go all the way in. I just know that like in my family, and Cernovich was saying the same thing, by the way, that it's totally infected his household too. And so like we're now both living like the Michael Jackson life, where like it's like the music's on all the time, the kids love it, we love it, it's just a good time.
Yeah, no, that's cool. But see, I support that. If that's your like,
Can I,
it's
I'll-
been
can I
good
say-
for your family.
Can
That's the point.
I say this about the Michael movie? I thought the Michael movie was good. I learned a couple of things. Like generally, most Americans know like way too much about Michael Jackson than they really.
Yeah, but
should, because-
you do learn some stuff, I think.
But
and
I
it- think it
didn't
helped punch
realize
through a bunch of the
how
fake news.
they had like I learned about and by the way, I thought it was really cool how the family came together to really honor Michael to make that movie and do all that. And I thought
Correct.
that was really tasteful.
It's his
Um,
nephew.
Yeah, and it's his nephew. And that was really cool.
Oh, that plays him?
Yeah,
Oh,
it's
I
is it?
Yeah,
It's
so his actual, that's not CGI. That's his actual nephew.
That
I mean,
kinda-
yeah, I'm sure he uses like a little bit of makeup or something.
Whose
but
son is it?
That's his
It's
actual nephew that's
Is
playing.
it Jermaine's son?
Shoot.
I think it's Jermaine's son.
think
That kind of
so,
reminds
but I have
me
to double
of
check.
Straight Outta Compton, where it was actually Ice Cube's son who played Ice Cube.
Yeah, that's
yeah.
cool. Like
that was cool. That was cool.
I think it's cool. Like it tells a story about a family, and there's a lot of heartache that's involved with their family. Like, and that's cool. And like everybody clearly disliked the dad, and like they wanted to get that point across. And like, kind of sucks if you're a dad, but the dad's such a jerk, But like,
Don't be a bad dad.
like I mean, don't be a bad dad is kind of a theme that comes out of that. I thought it was really interesting that I didn't realize they had so many exotic animals just running around.
I didn't know that's either.
Yeah, it wasn't just the monkey.
No, they had like giraffes and all sorts of
Yeah.
stuff. Like,
So bizarre.
This is
The
like
snake.
a medieval court.
like that's kind of cool. That's
When-
kind of
when
that
we
was
have
a
it-
kind of a
when
cool
we have
thing.
it on. My AJ will be like, Daddy, get to the snake part. I want to see the snake part.
Well, and for me, like actually, like one of the things I pulled away from it, and maybe this is subconsciously for America, hopefully, was that like how cool is that? Like one of the themes that was in it too was that a family went from basically nothing, to like living like quite literally the American dream, and nobody's like
100%.
nobody like psycho leftists came out of that.
He's like,
probably
you want to
thinking,
work in a
like,
factory like
how-
me, boy?
How dare they have safari animals like living on their property and that like? But I thought that was pretty cool, and I think that's a
kind
cool
of a
thing.
cliche though that we like teach black
It
people.
was
Like if you're
obviously
gonna get the
cool.
American dream, it's gonna be through like you're gonna be a rapper or an NBA player.
No,
or
but it
something.
played into this whole thing of like clearly Michael Jackson, like in part one of the themes too in that movie was that like he never progressed or grew up. Like he was kind of
Arrested
trapped.
Development.
He kind of was trapped
Well,
in
they,
this
they show that. Yeah, they totally show that.
that he was like and I think that actually gave a lot more insight to a lot of the misnomers that people took that kind of claimed that he was like this terrible person, but he was like really like what they were saying is like this guy was a kid since the time because the dad kept him in this kid zone that he never got to experience his.
I'm not saying we're done with this topic, but I do think this is a weird we have this other topic talking about millennials and Gen Z.
No, it's an interesting segue. Yeah.
It's a really interesting segue.
We got to dive into this. Yeah.
Michael Jackson's dad definitely believed in corporal punishment.
So wait, Andrew, you haven't seen the film, right?
No, I haven't.
And they blamed him.
So this is a huge scene in the movie, and spoiler alert, whatever. But there's a huge scene, pretty early on, where he Michael doesn't want to perform properly, and this is back when he's like Jackson 5, Michael Jackson, like really young, and before they've even taken off. And his dad he talks back to his dad, and he's like, "You're gonna show me respect," and just pulls the belt off and just starts whipping him. And they show it on screen, and he's like freaking out, he's crying, and that's what Tyler's referring to when he says it kind of shows you perhaps some of those forces and family dynamics that maybe made Michael kind of have this like childlike personality even as he grew up.
I think culturally,
maybe, psychologically frozen there.
We heard these stories, and then I think as a culture we got away from spanking, and apparently, according to new study or new reporting, I guess Gen Z is returning to this. Apparently, can we see number 9? Put it on the screen. Shocking number of millennial and Gen Z parents spank their kids, study says. Necessary to raise a child properly. So go around the horn. I believe in spanking. I don't do it very often, but I'm not opposed to doing it. You believe in it?
I see no reason to oppose it.
Tyler?
No, I don't oppose it. I think it's I think there's like anything limits.
Yeah. I don't believe in just taking off your belt and whipping the crap out of your kid for 40 minutes.
I think there's people that
That's
probably
terrifying.
take it's as close to getting to child abuse from a physical standpoint.
Sure.
you shouldn't.
Well, you can't do it in anger.
Hit
so
kids
this is
and
the thing. If you're gonna spank your child, you need to be controlled. You need to have your emotions in check. You can't be going I'm gonna get you. You could do some damage there, actually, psychologically. But if you do it and be like, listen, I told you, I'm gonna so we do a thing in our house, I'm gonna move your body. If you refuse to come to me when we're asking, I'm gonna physically move you. You have one more option, one more chance. And then they either come or they don't. And then if it escalates, well, listen, so we'll do soap in the mouth. We actually do that.
Oh wow, okay. I never ran into that one.
They hate it. Or put a little Tabasco on their tongue. They can't stand that either. It's
I think
but so there's other ways to do it. So we don't really spank that often, but we do find ways to just make it so that they don't want to experience the accountability. Jack, are you pro or against?
Yeah, I think I'm more in your the camp that you're saying there. Where we don't spank, but there are lots of things that we do. In terms of discipline, I haven't ever done the Tabasco thing, and
it's like a drop.
I almost don't want to say this out loud, but I just want to say that I remember my parents doing that because I had a bit of a mouth when I was a kid and still do, and definitely remember the Tabasco on the tongue. And I will just say I have not encountered a situation that necessitated it yet, and praise God, and hopefully we won't have to, but that's certainly on the list. One thing that we do though is we definitely do push-ups. We definitely you do something wrong, it's like dropping me 10, and
plank,
if you're not,
make them sit and plank for a while.
Well, and it's and if they don't, it's more push-up than plank, but it's if you don't go down far enough, then daddy gets out the fist and you have to go down and you have to get to daddy. You come all the way down. We do timeouts, obviously, that's a big one. Just a variety of things, and depriving kids of things. I think there's a lot you can do. I'm not sold on the science. I mean, there's plenty of studies that are that show that spanking is really bad and leads to Michael Jackson style issues.
Well, that's what I'm saying. If you're gonna do it, you have to be controlled. But I don't think and to be fair, I think some parents probably can't control themselves and do it in kind of a dispassionate way.
And I hate to say it,
spare
but
the rod, spoil the child. So spare the rod, spoil the child. But we're assuming that's a physical rod. It doesn't have to be. It could be Tabasco. It could be soap in the mouth. But the point is, you got to discipline your kids. Like the Bible says that God disciplines his children because he loves them, right?
I think it's going to happen. I don't think it has to, I think if you're using it right, it doesn't have to be done often. But I think a child benefits from the awareness that their parents are capable of hurting them if they need to.
Yeah, I think it's important for kids to have a little bit of fear. Like I think I got belted one time when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And I don't think my parents were are old Gen Xers, and so I think Gen X is kind of like known as like
45% of Gen X admitted to spanking their children.
How much of millennials? Millennials like the weakest.
So it's like the research revealed that when this demographic of parents was asked whether they had ever spanked their child or children with their hand, about 20% said yes.
So millennials is 20. Like boomers were probably like 90%.
Yeah, and
excuse me.
Yeah, and
did it have boomers in there?
Yeah, and no, I just had Gen X.
I bet boomers like legitimately, it's like well over 80% spank their kids.
It's just I think
so. It's gone down.
Kids are better behaved than they were.
No, they're worse.
Yeah, they're like worse, and also just it's. I'll just say it this way: it's an overly. It's like longhoused and overly feminized, and I think that actually undermines the authority of parents a lot.
No, let me say this without exposing like my family, but I'm the oldest in my family, and I have 4 brothers and sisters, 3 brothers, 1 sister, and I definitely got belted at least one time, maybe 2, like not like, but it was memorable enough where it like I never wanted it to happen again.
Mm-hmm.
But the kids in my family definitely didn't get, like, as time went on, my parents got
they always get softer,
and they didn't. And
I also think parents get better. Like I've become a better parent as my kids have gotten older, and I think actually, in truth, I've used spanking way. I think like my daughter probably was the only one. If I'm actually thinking about it, I think my daughter's the only one I've spanked. Is I got better at being a parent and using other tools, and understanding like how to avoid even having to get to that point. So I think there's some of that.
I think
too.
there's an element.
It's not that you get softer; you might just get better.
But I was gonna say, this is the point I was gonna make, was that if the kids are close enough together and they observe the corporal punishment of like an older, then you don't need to.
Yeah.
So like I think that I was like for sure like definitely instilled in like my younger siblings, like you don't want to get spanked. So the threat actually became real because like they knew that I was serious about it, because it was like the look they could see in my eyes of like, oh yeah, you don't want that to happen to you, and so you don't have to use it. But if you don't do it at least once, right? Like there's no threat. I think I spanked my son one
Peace
time.
through strength.
I think my dad maybe did it once or twice, and it was that level.
So as a parent, you don't like doing it.
Yeah, and he had other ways.
Yeah,
I think
here's the way to put it together. Because I'm still kind of like, you look, I mean, you could see all the studies out there that say that spanking in general, like is not good for cognitive development.
But those are done by libs.
It's
true.
But at this University of Texas,
libs.
No libs at UT Austin. Okay.
Yeah, that a lot of it is like lack of creativity, but the problem though I think is that people saw that stuff and they thought like, oh, we have to go full in on like the therapy style. Like I'm going to be my kid's best friend and I'm going to do this, and this whole like non-confrontational parenting. We're like, I want my kid to trust me. I'm one of the buds. Like I'm a cool parent, and like I'm going to give you a sip of beer. I'm going to give you smoke a cigarette or whatever. Like it's really stupid. And the issue that's now created with the unruly kids is that it's been too permissive, and the kids don't actually have any boundaries when they're in that situation. And so like you do need to drive back. So I think if anything, with what they're saying about the shocking rise, is that I think that perhaps like some millennial and Gen Z parents are like, okay, the whole like talk therapy version of parenting is stupid, so I'm going to move in the opposite direction, but then they go too far in the opposite direction,
and then you create terrible kids. So yeah, I mean, I agree. I think actually, like if you're reading the article,
and then your kids actually beat you.
Yeah, exactly. Once they get big enough, but like
they can try.
I think you're I think the article is like saying it's shocking still how many parents do this. I think it's actually like Tyler's point is if there isn't an actual threat of it being real, then it kind of loses its effectiveness. Like it is like peace through strength parenting. But yeah, if you enforce authority and you firmly establish that they need to answer to you and that you're in charge at a very young age, I do think that you can tend to keep those boundaries more established. Yeah. But there are going to be times where kids try and like defy the parents, you know, like, and I would say to your point on the oldest, like my daughter she's great now. She's like our easiest kid now. But when she was kind of like spreading her wings and trying to establish kind of the boundary lines with us, she was the hardest that we've had. And so, you know, there needed to be a little bit of like set the pace here. That's in theory, like, but maybe I just wasn't as good of a parent either. Because with the other ones, I have so many more tools in the toolbox to kind of establish, you know, order in the house.
Can I introduce the thought crime here?
Physical too. Sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
So here's my thought crime on this is, and it's something that I just don't see addressed in any parenting literature at all, is that I think that IQ plays a role in this. I think if you have kids who are, or you know, people who are lower IQ, then perhaps this might be more effective. And we certainly have talked about that in the legal process and the judicial process, and the Lee Kuan Yew sort of version of corporal punishment for adults. And I think with kids, it's the same way. Like if you've got smarter kids, if you've got kids that are more cognitively aware, then the threat works better than the actual thing. But if they don't seem to have that ability to put that all together, then perhaps it is those ones that are lower IQ where this is more effective. Because I have people texting me right now who are watching the show saying like, oh, I tried that and it didn't work. Like my kid just kept, was like outsmarted me, or not outsmarted, but just was smarter than the punishment and was like, just kept going. So, you've got to find something that meets the kid. But that's the thought crime, is that it's not a one size fits all strategy for all kids.
I thought that I experienced that with my daughter. I basically became convinced that it was not the most effective discipline that we could mete out. So here's this UT Austin study. In the U.S., 76% of men and 65% of women agree that it is sometimes necessary to discipline a child with a good hard spanking. 70% of mothers of 2-year-olds report spanking their children. By the time they reach, which is interesting, by the way, so 70% of moms, but only 65% of women agree that it's sometimes necessary. By the time they reach 5th grade, 80% of American children report they have been spanked by their parents. I don't know if I believe that. I think a lot of children are like, yeah, me too. Anyways, but according to UNICEF, 60% of children around the world experience physical punishment from their parents. This study basically, I think, agrees with you, Jack, that it's probably not the most effective. Spanking does not make children more compliant.
I think the answer is in between. And let's remember,
I just don't buy these things.
That phrase isn't actually in the Bible of spare the rod, spoil the child. That's not what the Bible says.
No,
right? It says he who spares the rod hates his child. He who loves his son, disciplines carefully.
Yeah.
So it's about discipline.
It also says
it's
don't
not
exasperate
about,
your children.
The rod.
The Bible says do not exasperate your children.
It doesn't say you have to spank them.
Yeah, but the Bible says do not exasperate your children, which is another thing, which I like as a parent,
yes,
like that has come into focus a lot, because you can feel when if you're trying to like drive home a point, you can feel when they've kind of had enough, and like sometimes you need to pivot to a softer approach. But anyways,
I think the people who go out and I bet people can generate studies that'll tell you that any form of punishment is actually bad, because a lot of people, they like the anarchy of there being no authority. And something that's pointed out that I think is useful is any law we have, if we want it to exist, it does ultimately need to be backed up by force. It comes up when the police end up choking or shooting someone. They're trying to enforce the law. The guy decides to resist arrest, and they end up shooting the guy. And everyone's just like, why do you get shot over a loose cigarette? Why do you get shot over car tags? Well, in the end, you have to obey the police. And if you don't obey the police, something bad will happen to you. And I think spanking is the micro version of that for a parent. That a parent, ultimately, they have to have authority over their child.
There has to be
their
a line.
Ultimate apex of that is if you do not listen to what I always say, I will use physical force on you. And I think we have to have it be acceptable for a parent to do that.
I think it
and
should
I think
be acceptable.
ideally it's
Totally.
actually quite rare. I think all of us who have said it's okay have said we ourselves experienced it maybe once. And so, among other things, I don't imagine any of these studies they're doing are very good at capturing the value that comes from a parent who spanks their child literally once ever while they're growing up.
Yeah.
I think that's difficult to capture, but I think the value is real.
Did you guys ever experience any physical punishment when you became like teenagers?
My dad, the longest thing he would do, and this is going to sound extremely funny today, but I did once possess hair atop my head. And if my dad thought I was giving him lip or being sassy, he would grab me by the back, by the short hairs in the back right here.
Which ones you still have, to be clear?
Well, I don't really have them there anymore. He couldn't grab them anymore for sure.
One time,
they used to be grabbable.
My mom used to do that when I was a kid, but not as a teenager.
One time when I was, I must have been like 14 or 15, and I sort of vaguely remember it. I actually look back, just to be in my dad's defense. I look back and I'm like, totally respect it, but I got really mouthy, said some like really like nasty things. And I think he slapped me, not very hard, but he slapped me and he said, "You will respect me. You will respect me." And I remember in the moment I was so shocked. I can't believe
Like, how dare you?
Yeah, seriously, that was basically the general energy. And then it dawned on me when I was like 25. I was like, I had this like grudging respect for my old man. I was like, yeah, he put me in my place. Like, good for him, actually, because I really deserved it. And now as I get older, I don't grudgingly respect it. I'm like, that was rad. Like, good for you.
Now I'm just thinking on the other
I remember
freakouts that they can have from punishments. So we reflect on spanking, but I wonder if the experts would now say like taking your child's phone away for a prolonged period.
That would be the most dramatic
And I am
thing.
thinking, I'm sorry, I'm going to drag my one of my sisters here for a bit. I remember one time my parents grounded my sister by taking her phone away for, I believe, 1 or 2 days. And I remember her literally screaming, "You have ruined my life!" Maybe we did. I don't know how her life might have gone if they hadn't.
As a teenager, I got my dad to use the F word one time. Sorry, Dad, I haven't exposed you.
Oof.
That's
And
like big
that
in
was
a
like the
Mormon
only time. My
family.
dad never cussed. My dad's like really slow to anger. He's like really chill, and he never gets angry. He always is
But
like
you
the
pushed
disappointed.
enough buttons.
I pushed enough buttons where he like dropped an F-bomb on me, and I started laughing because I was like shocked and nervous all at the same time. But I was just like laughing. But it left like an impression with me. I was like, I actually felt bad that I made my dad so mad that it probably a similar situation where it's like I felt bad that I made my dad so mad that he did that. And I know he was like disappointed in himself afterwards that I like got under his
Jack,
skin.
anything for you when you got older and got all Philly
the
proud?
one thing that I just have to reflect on is this is going back like, I guess 6 or 7 years now, is that, just over the 6 or 7 years that I've dealt with Andrew Colvett. I mean, I'm right there with his dad. I totally get it. Totally get it.
I do have
That one time when you slapped Andrew in the office.
Yeah, that was
pretty
weird,
awesome.
Jack.
Well, I thought we weren't
turned the
talking
other
about that
cheek.
on air.
I turned the other cheek. Yeah, I mean, listen, I maybe I was just a bad teenager. I don't know. I was actually a pretty good kid in general, but I definitely had that coming. Like I went through this phase where I would say like out of line things, like trying to get a shock out of my parents. Anyways, Foz says, when I was 5, all the kids would talk about spankings, and I was curious and jealous that I never got spanked since my parents were against it. So I kept doing things that were naughty to try and get spanked, and then it finally happened, and I didn't love it. Never happened again. Let's see. There you go. Foz a good kid. Foz still a good man. So I don't know. I'm kind of with you, Blake. My instincts say that this is woke garbage, and it's probably okay sometimes. You have to do it dispassionately. You can't be like doing it in anger and freaking the kids out. You can't be like beaten with a belt for 40 minutes. Like it has to have boundaries and limitations. But if you don't have that as an option on the table, it's kind of like,
Well, and there's a lot of other things I was going to bring up that are non-physical, but it's the same thing. If it's just a threat and you never do it, then there are no teeth.
You gotta hold your word.
So
You're not your kids' friends.
So
You're not friends.
I mean, there's two things.
You're the authority.
One thing
Don't
my
be your
dad
kid's
did.
friend.
I know we got to go,
You
but
can't do that.
my dad did one thing, not to me, but to my brother. He had his car, and he threatened, like, hey, if you do, I can't remember what he did, something like goofed off or he broke curfew or did something. He's like, I'm gonna take away your car. And my dad did take away my brother's car without him knowing. He had an extra key to it, and then parked it in a storage locker. Like it fit perfectly in the storage locker. Closed the door, and gave the storage locker key to my brother, but didn't tell him which storage locker it was in or where it was at. Right. So he had to live with like, hey, if you lose this, now you're responsible for the storage locker key, and if you lose the storage locker key, right, you're never getting your car back because I'm not going to tell you where it is. Like it's gone, and so you have to be responsible enough to like keep the storage locker key for as long, and then when I decide to let it out,
really funny to put it in like one of the extremely large storage locker complexes we have in Phoenix, and just say like it's one of them.
So go find it.
Just make them do every lock. All right, Animal Farm, Jack, take us home on Animal Farm.
Yeah, I do have to report back that I did finally get a chance to sit down and watch the new Animal Farm. I think I was actually like live commenting on it in our group chat while I was watching it. And I just totally agree with Blake. I mean, within like the first 25 minutes or so are kind of, it's pretty much like beat for beat the same story as like the book. And then it just takes a wild turn and becomes extremely anti-capitalist. It just is. I mean,
I was interested.
Like the villain
at first
is clearly
you were like,
driving
it's not
a
so bad.
Cybertruck, by the way. And it's also just not a good story.
I was surprised because I was watching your live commentary. You're like, it's not that bad. It's pretty whatever right now. And then not.
Yeah,
so
like
much.
the first third was like kind of the same, and then it just goes off the rails completely.
All right. Well, it's been a fun episode. A very culture like media,
high culture,
movies,
Star Wars, trashy books,
Animal Farm,
bad novel adaptations.
We should get back into the thought crimey stuff next week. I think we gotta like be tempted to say things we don't want clipped.
But we gotta bail. So thank you,
Jack,
everyone.
Take us home, Jack.
Ladies and gentlemen, as always, go out there and commit more thought crime.
Thought crime is death.